All right, hello everybody. Welcome to week one. This is our week one of, I got my thing to work. Yay, it's in landscape. I hope it stays that way. Okay, so this is week one of Thankful Thursdays. I can't promise going live every single time, but I will do a video at least every Thursday. And so today we're going to be using this Joy of Christmas in the mini catalog on page 29 for not a Christmas card. It's a thank you card. Okay, and then we're also going to be using this stamp set called Apple Harvest in the annual catalog. And so you can see a couple of samples here. Okay, and then we're also going to be using these. I actually have never opened them before, so this is the first time I'm using them, but they are assortment number 2 of the watercolor pencils. And if you've never used watercolor pencils before, I think they're one of the most underrated products that we have. They write really smoothly, they have really good pigmentation, and when you get them wet, they have a very smooth texture to it. So we're going to, I just want to give a shout out to customer service at Stampin' Up. Their support for customers and demonstrators alike is like top notch. If you ever have a problem, I actually got this stamp set by mistake. You can see in here I have the stickers for the On the Horizon, but when I ordered that bundle, that's not the stamp set that came. I actually got this one. So that's the only reason why I have it. It didn't really appeal to me, but I was thinking fall and thankful cards, and I was looking through all my stamp sets that had thank you in them, and I pulled them all out, and this was one of them. So I felt like this would be really fitting to make a card with today. Okay, so one thing I did not pull out was a block. So let's get that out. Okay, our first card, we are going to use the garden green card base. And then I have a 3x3 Whisper White and a 3 1/4 by 3 1/4 matte. You can see the wood grain there from that Joy of Christmas DSP. And then this one, I'll show you the other side of this. It's buffalo plaid on the back, and then there's these leaves and then some red for Christmas. So we're going to use the green side. So the first thing I want to do is stamp a background, and this stamp set actually has some really nice images. Actually, there's flowers, there's apples, there's them growing on the tree, and then there's this like crosshatch kind of one. I think I'm going to make a background with this big one. So let me pull out a big block. This is my, I believe, E block. Yep, E. Okay, and I'm just going to stamp a background with it a couple of times just to give the back some texture. Okay, and then we can come in with our crosshatch and just kind of fill in some different spaces here. All right, and I'm not even going to color in anything. I know a lot of people don't like to color in, and that is perfectly fine. Okay, so there is our card base. Let me get bone folder here. Just give that a good crease. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is find my chamois. Clean off this stamp. I've got a very well-loved chamois. Okay, and then I'll clean this one off. And and I wanted to, in the catalog, it has this stamp with the green. So we are going to do some coloring. That's why I pulled out the pad, and let's see here. I'm going to pull in our garden green, and this is our 3 by 3 inch, and I'm going to stamp off and see, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to stamp off, and then I'll stamp our apples on just like that. And then let's color. So one of these is garden green, and it's nice because they're labeled so you know which one. This one's granny apple green, and then there's garden green, and then we can use, I guess, Cajun Craze for the stems. So I'm just gonna color a little bit here, and I will wet this with an old aqua painter. I think they're called water painters now. And then there's Flirty Flamingo. We'll put a touch of that on the flowers. And then I'll do garden green on the leaves. And the harder you press with these, the darker it is. I don't know if you guys can see that. I will bring it closer up to the camera. So I'm pressing pretty heavily near the leaves, and then I just lighten up on the rest of them. And it's okay that there's a little bit of white space. Okay, and then I just have the granny apple green one here. Color around that. And I like that this stamp set actually has some shading in it, so you know where to kind of press harder. You can also use a blender pen. If I have a blender pen nearby, I will use that instead of an aqua painter, just because it won't really tear your paper up as much. Okay, so that's cute. And then in that picture, let's see, let's do balmy blue. I'm just gonna kind of shade on the outside just to give this a little depth, and we'll blend it out in a minute. But just to show that, maybe give the illusion that it's hanging off of a tree and there's the sky behind it. And I did make a last year, when this was actually in last year's holiday catalog, I believe, the December, the mini catalog, fall and winter, I don't know, they changed the name of these catalogs, what they call them. So now they're calling them by the months. So this is the September through December catalog that we have, the mini, the green front catalog. Okay, and then we have an annual catalog, but it's let me see here. Oh, we could also use our Winka Stella. I don't think there's any. Okay, there's a little bit of water in here, so I'm just gonna very, very lightly. There's hardly any water on this brush tip, but you can see how it kind of softens up those stroke marks and just paints your watercolor pigments onto there from the pencils. I guess on my other card I'll pull out a blender pen. Hopefully they're not dried out. I wanted to order some more and I didn't. But when you change colors, whether with blender pens or your aqua painter, you do want to get the other color off so that it doesn't bleed. There's not always a lot on there, just because these colored pencils don't have that much, but there you go. Let's see if I can get this to stretch out a little more. Okay, so I don't know if you can see that. I didn't show it to you before I colored it in, but then we're going to mat that onto here. Get some glue. Okay, so this Christmas paper is being used as a fall thank you card. And these next 5 weeks, I'm just going to focus on thank you cards. It's not necessarily going to be fall themed. Some of them might be. But let's see. I don't know what that is. But we will cover it up. There we go. Okay, so let me put some glue on here. Paste that down. Get some scissors and snip the excess off. So I believe, let's see, I'll measure this strip. This is a really good layout. 1 1¼ inch strip of designer series paper. And just super simple cards. Okay, and then I'm going to get a scrap here. And there's my stamp that says thank you, because we're making a thank you card. Thanks for your kindness. Okay. Thanks for your kindness. I'll stamp this in green as well. And I'll just make a little banner end tips. Cut down the middle. Cut, I guess, what is that, 45-degree angle up the corners. And then let me get some dimensionals here to pop this little sentiment up. And I'm just gonna put that right here. Cute little thank you card. All right, and then the inside, I'll glue that down. And then there's this other sentiment that's really sweet. It says, "The greatest gift is a good friend." And we can just put that on the inside. Greatest gift is a good friend, and then let's put a flower, because everybody likes flowers. Or we could put another apple. I'll just put another flower. So there you go. One stamp set very limited supplies. Okay, and then our next card, I cut a background from that designer series DSP, the Joyful Christmas, and so there's music notes on the back, and then there's this buffalo plaid on the front. And then I was debating, I felt like that was too much red, so I think we'll do this one instead. Okay, and so I'm gonna glue this down right away. Okay, and instead of garden green, red and green made me think Christmas, I am going to do crumb cake. And we're going to use this big apple. Where did my stamp set go? Okay, this big apple by itself. And we will color it in cherry cobbler, which is in our assortment. And I think I'm going to stamp off, yep. Stamp off, just so that it's a lighter color. Clean that, and then I'm going to put the thanks again at the bottom. Thanks for your kindness at the bottom. And this will just be a simple card. Okay, so we've got cherry cobbler, and I'll use Granny Apple Green. Okay, so you can see here, it's kind of this darker highlights, I guess. I'm not very good at coloring, like showing depth, really. So I'm thankful for those areas that like kind of guide you of where your coloring should be lighter. And you don't even have to wet this. I don't think I'm going to. I'm not going to blend this one. I'm just going to color it. And the other thing that I like about watercolored pencils is you don't have to worry about them running out of ink or drying up. And you have a bunch of different colors. I think this assortment's like $10. And then the other one, it's just a very minimal investment into crafting supplies that you can always use, because colored pencils are a medium, a type of ink that you can use on just coloring books, on cards, to write notes, to grade papers. Some of you might be teachers. And they're so smooth, and the pigment in them is really nice. I'm just kind of doing a at an angle, using it as at an angle. Okay, and small little back and forth circular motions, but I just felt like these are underappreciated by me, especially because I don't always take a lot of time to color. But it's nice. And you can always go back. I have not tried erasing these though, so if you've tried erasing with these, let me know. Let me know if they erase well or not. Oh, I'm right next to the printer. I think the husband's printing something. Okay. All right. And I'm not going to blend these in because I feel like I've taken up enough of your time. You don't want to spend your whole day. Oh, a trick I learned. Okay, let's get this blue again. A trick that I learned from another demonstrator was to ground your subject so that it doesn't look like it's just sitting in midair, floating in midair, is you just put a little bit of color underneath it, and look at that. It looks like it's floating on water because I use blue. Or on a blue tablecloth, or a blue countertop, or a blue plate. Okay, so it just kind of grounded our little thing, our apple. All right, and I'm just going to layer this on there. I have no idea how long this video is, but we're almost done. In the description, I did put the product number, so if you are interested in purchasing any of the products that I used on these cards today, feel free and type those in. You can go to my online store, which is in my bio, or you can just choose me as your demonstrator. I would appreciate the credit if you do purchase any of these supplies. And there we go. 2 cute cards with apples. Where's my other one? Over here. So we got a red and a green. Do you prefer red or green? In New Mexico, we would be referring to chili. I don't really like all these streaky marks. Let's color some more. Okay, so red apples or green apples? What do you prefer? That's the question of the day. All right, friends, thanks for joining me. I hope you are grateful today, and I'd love for you to share in the comments of the Thankful Thursday post if you created a thank you card today and who you're sending it to. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next week.